A country shaped by centuries of colonization by violent wars, long-lasting political upheaval, and the idyllic beauty of its islands, the Philippines offers writers plenty of material to work with. In stories drawn from this complex heritage, Filipino authors stand out for their creative, compelling voices. Culture Trip rounds up 7 of the best literary talents to come from the Philippines. Number 7, Jessica Hagedorn.
I always tell people about the fact that many people in the Philippines are great storytellers.
Jessica Hagedorn is best known for her 1990 novel Dog Eaters. She was born and raised in the Philippines and relocated to San Francisco in her teens. Hagedorn's ethnic heritage is a mix of Spanish, Filipino, French, Irish, and Chinese. Dog Eaters, which won the American Book Award and was a finalist for the National Book Award, shines a light in the many layers of Filipino society, especially the American influence prevalent in the entertainment industry. Hagedorn is also a poet and a playwright. She first played Mango Tango was produced by Joseph Pop in 1978. The same year, she moved to New York where she currently lives with her daughters. Number 6, Francisco Sionil Jose.
Why did you start writing?
First, it's the only thing I know.
But you're really good at it.
Kasi I wanted to be doctor.
Francisco Sionil Jose's novels, short stories, and nonfiction works highlight the social underpinnings, class struggles, and colonial history of Filipino society. He is best known for his epic work, The Rosales Saga, a 5 novels encompassing 100 years of Philippine history, painting a vivid documentary of Filipino life. Recognitions of Jose's literary works and his influence on the Philippines and Asia include the Ramon Magsaysay Award for Journalism, Literature and Creative Arts in 1980, Philippine National Artist in 2001, and Pablo Neruda Centennial Award in 2004, and Officer in the French Order of Arts and Letters in 2014. Number 5, Nick Joaquin.
Sa ilalim ng kanyang bantog na pangalan at sa gisag panulat ng Quijano de Manila,
yung Quijano, nandun lahat ng letters ng Joaquin.
Ay nailathala ang mga iba't ibang klasikong kayamanan ng Filipinong panitikan na ang mga tema at mensahe ay nananatiling napapanahon lumipas man ang maraming taon. Kinilala siya bilang isa sa mga pinakamahusay at pinakamahalagang nobelista, mananaysay, makata, mandudula at periodista, hindi lamang ng kanyang panahon, bagkus hanggang sa kasalukuyan.
Nicomedes Nick Marquez Joaquin, born in May 4, 1917 and died on April 29, 2004, was a Filipino writer and a journalist, best known for his short stories and novels in the English language. He also wrote using the pen name Quijano de Manila. Joaquin was conferred the rank and title of National Artist of the Philippines for Literature. He has been considered one of the most important Filipino writers along with Jose Rizal and Claro M. Recto. He was the greatest Filipino writer of his generation. Over 6 decades and a half, he produced a body of work unmatched in richness and range by any of his contemporaries. Living a life wholly devoted to the craft of conjuring a world through words, he was the writer's writer. Number 4, Merlinda Bobis.
Sa mong babae para sila, bukpak, salbar pang sila. Kang sa mong mga padaba, hali sa salog, hali sa salog. Very black net but blood soaked, our fish hair woman, hair to save fish, all our beloved, from the river, from the river.
Merlinda Bobis, born on November 25, 1959, is a contemporary Philippine-Australian writer and academic. She was born in Legazpi City in the Philippine province of Albay. She attended Bicol University High School, then completed her BA at Aquinas University in Legazpi City. She holds postgraduate degrees from the University of Santo Tomas and University of Wollongong and now lives in Australia. Written in various genera in both Filipino and English, her work integrates elements of the traditional culture of the Philippines with modern immigrant experience. Also a dancer and visual artist, Bobis currently teaches at Wollongong University. Her play Rita's Lullaby was the winner of the 1998 Augie for the Best Radio Play and the International Prix Italia for the same year. In 2000, White Turtle won the Steel Rod Award for the Best Collection of Australian Short Stories and the 2000 Philippine National Book Award. Most recently, in 2006, she has received the Gintong Aklat Award or Golden Book Award Philippines for her novel Banana Heart Summer from the Book Development Association of the Philippines. Bobis won the 2016 Christina Steed Prize for Fiction, NSW Premier's Literary Awards for her book Locust Girl, A Love Song. Number 3. Jose Dalisay Jr.
People often ask me how and why I became a writer. The easy answer is that I realized early on that writing was the only thing I really loved doing, which I could do reasonably well.
Jose Y. Dalisay Jr., born January 15, 1954 up to present, is a Filipino writer. He authored more than 30 books since 1984, and 6 of those books have garnered National Book Awards from the Manila Critics Circle. In 1998, Dalisay made it to the Cultural Center of the Philippines or CCP Centennial Honors list as one of the 100 most accomplished Filipino artists of the past century. Dalisay has also worked as extensively as a professional editor. He served as executive editor of the 10-volume Kasaysayan, The Story of the Filipino People, Manila Asia Publishing Reader's Digest Asia in 1998. Number 2,
Philippines and
Luis
the United
Francia.
States. The main reason that Japan bombed the Philippines shortly after bombing Pearl Harbor was because there were U.S. bases in the Philippines, and the Philippines was a colony of the United States. So tactically, they needed to attack those bases, and they did.
Luis H. Francia was born in the Philippines on January 20, 1945 and moved to New York in the 1970s. This award-winning author, Luis Francia, has lived in New York for decades, but his experiences of growing up in the Philippines continue to shape the stories he tells to the world. The poet, author, and teacher emigrated to the U.S. after finishing college, where he wrote and co-edited the Village Voice newspaper for more than 20 years. His memoir, Eye of the Fish, A Personal Archipelago, won a PEN Open Book Award and an Asian American Literary Award. Amitav Ghosh, author of The Glass Palace, describes Francia's memoir as a hugely readable travelogue and an indispensable guide to a fascinating and richly varied archipelago. For number 1, Jose Rizal.
Binasa kong nobela. Nasasabik ako sa mangyayari sa iyong Pilipinas.
Ako rin po. Sana ito nang simula ng pagbabago.
Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado E. Alonso Realonda, born on June 19, 1861 and died on December 30, 1896, was a Filipino nationalist and polymath during the tail end of the Spanish colonial period of the Philippines. He is tagged as the national hero or pambansang bayani of the Filipino people. An ophthalmologist by profession, Rizal became a writer and a key member of the Filipino propaganda movement, which advocated political reforms for the colony under Spain. As book lovers across the world know, great works of fiction come from all different cities and continents. English is the international language of communication, and it is common for many popular writers to have their work translated into English. This allows an extended reader base to explore the wonderful narratives of international authors and experience many of the cultures and traditions of these places through their stories. Here are the list of the 5 international writers and their works. Number 1. Clarice Lispector. She was born on December 10, 1920 and died on December 9, 1977. She was a Brazilian novelist and short story writer acclaimed internationally for her innovative novels and short stories. She was born to a Jewish family in Podolya in western Ukraine. As an infant, she moved to Brazil with her family. At the age of 23, she published her first novel and was quickly launched to fame because of her innovative style and language, which was considered revolutionary in Brazil at that time. Many of her books focus on the concept of self-discovery in everyday situations. Even though she died almost 40 years ago, her literature still remains popular among Brazilian and international audiences. Number 2. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, an American Spanish. He was born on March 6, 1927 to April 17, 2014. He was a Colombian novelist, short story writer, screenwriter, and a journalist known affectionately as Gabo or Gabito throughout Latin America. He was considered one of the most significant authors of the 20th century, particularly in the Spanish language. He was awarded the 1972 Neustadt International Prize for Literature and the 1982 Nobel Prize in Literature. In the tradition of the magical realists of Latin America, Marquez's stories feels as though they are taking place in dreams, mixing the real world and the fantastical world of fiction into beautiful stories. Number 3. Isabel Angelica Allende Leona. She is an American Spanish born in Lima, Peru, August 2, 1940. She is a Chilean writer. Allende, whose work sometimes contain aspects of the genre magical realism, is known for novels such as The House of the Spirits or La Casa de los Espíritus in 1982 and City of the Beast or La Ciudad de las Bestias in 2002, which has been commercially highly successful. Allende has been called the world's most widely read Spanish language author. In 2004, Allende was inducted into the American Academy of Arts and Letters, and in 2010, she received Chile's National Literature Prize. President Barack Obama awarded her the 2014 Presidential Medal of Freedom. Number 4. Haruki Murakami. It is fairly likely that if you enter a bookstore, at least one of Murakami's books will be on display, and it's no wonder why, when his colorful stories are brimming with a light-hearted tone and strange imagery. He is critically acclaimed for his unusual style and otherworldly settings, which have created a cult following among his readers. Although much of his styles relates back to the traditional storytelling of Japan, another part of it is extremely modern and relatable to a larger audience, which is probably why his books have been translated into English so they can be read by more people around the world. And last but not the least, number 5, Ferit Orhan Pamuk. He was born on June 7, 1952, and a Turkish novelist, screenwriter, academic, and recipient of the 2006 Nobel Prize in Literature on October 12, 2006. His works has sold over 13 million books in 63 languages, making him the country's best-selling writer.